And as we see now, bans dropping out to Syndra. Most likely not many bans to the top side, and yep, Rise right away.
And Aurelion Sol and Karma from the side of Unicorns of Love, not willing to take any risk with that dragon, and rightfully so. Tom Kench banned out by themselves this time around, and then the Bard gets answered by the Flash Wolf. So we're going to see some different picks for Hylissang and Sword Art in this one, and a very, very quick first pick, Poppy, from the side of the Unicorns of Love this time around. Froskuring is frowning.
Yeah, actually just really fast and furious. I mean, I like the fact that Poppy's there. Again, they already know that they're very strong in the top lane. You have a lot of potential power picks still open. You've got the Nidalee, you have the Lee Sin, you have the Olaf. You can go multiple different directions. Looks like Karsa's like, this one's mine.
Hallelujah for Bard being banned. Finally, the pick that was being so important for the Unicorns is gone. But if they end up locking in that Jhin and Nidalee, what that means is that they're going to be needing tanks, and it's going to be quite difficult when the premier tank has already been taken away in Poppy.
Yeah, this is going to make it a little bit interesting. Sorry, not to cut you off, because we haven't seen the Jhin come in yet for Double Red, so it'll be interesting to see how he's going to play that one out, because before it was the Varus, so we know that he's got kind of an eclectic mix of ADCs, but we haven't seen this one from him yet. So the Ashe started off really strong, and then it's kind of like degraded over the last two games. Over the last game, so I don't really know how it's going to work out for him.
There is the potential to pick up the Ashe and the Kench right here in second rotation if they want to kind of hold their hand a little bit. They don't necessarily need to prioritize a jungler, but it still would hide the composition. Or we'll see if Veritas will go back towards that Ezreal.
Yeah, we will see if that happens. Sorry.
Keeping things OG with the Rex. I love the pick personally, and hopefully they have another trick up their sleeve to kind of influence the bottom lane more. We know that Thresh Rex is a really strong combination, a little bit riskier of a pick, but without the Bard, I don't know if it's going to be as effective as we saw that first game, and it is maybe trying to tunnel a little bit too much and force what worked in the previous game too hard.
What I really like in tandem with Rek'Sai is actually the Tahm Kench. Yeah, you still sacrifice a lot of your potential power in the lane, but because you have those two semi-global ultimates,
they banned it themselves.
To be fair, it's really far
away. You're right. Going for the Rek'Sai and the Orianna. Fantastic staple pick, of course, for Exile in that mid lane. That does leave the counter pick up for Maple, and we say, okay, it's probably going to be one of those control mages, but he has thrown us some curveballs, but it does look like he's hovering and thinking about the Victor at least.
There's really not a whole lot you can take to just say, I'm going to counter Orianna, especially with how good Exile has been on that pick. He's got solo kills onto the likes of Maple. He's been rocking it all week, and I think that it's just a solid pick to blind, especially with Poppy and with the Rex, that you can speed them up and really just have a lot of power with that ball carrier.
Look, it's your favorite.
There we go.
I mean, they're going to hover this one again
this time, so I think I'm a little cooler with that.
That's like purple splurge that is definitely Vel'Koz.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, if they lock this in again, this isn't about just controlling the lane and dominating. Like, it's going to be about that utility. It's going to be about poking them down, whittling them down with that true damage, which is going to be really good to get through the defenses of that Rek'Sai and of that Poppy, who otherwise, you're basically kind of like scraping at the armor. You can't get through them.
And there we go. We will see it again from Maple, and then we will see MMD taking on the Gnar, as he saw what Vizicsacsi could do on that in the previous game. We'll see what he can go do. Of course, the Poppy was already taken away, so he'll be taking Gnar into lane against that. And then to see UOL, what will they round out their composition in the bottom lane?
So a really hard reset from Flash Wolves, going back to a composition super similar to the one that they ran in game number 1 that found them the success. Again, still harder to execute than other compositions. There are a ton of tools on Unicorns of Love's kit already to start fights and not let them, engage in that long chip or that poke war. I'd really like to see some form of disengage from the Flash Wolves to keep them safe, because you're competing against a possible Asher, against a Shockwave, against the Rek'Sai creative gank paths.
And I think to reiterate your point about the Flash Wolves composition being so hard to execute, it's because every single pick is completely reliant on skill shots. There's really not a whole lot of AoE here as well, and everything has to hit, whereas you have the Unicorns and it's all quite simple.
But this would certainly answer all of their problems. Not necessarily that Zyra can reset a fight, but if she does throw down her ultimate, pretty much everyone's either walking off of it or flashing off of it.
I will say, however, I am a huge fan of the Thresh here with the Ashe, with the Rek'Sai, the combination that I was looking for with Bard being taken out. And if they do lock in the Zyra, while it does make for a very abusive lane in terms of harass, Thresh is always so incredibly deadly. Into that one flash play, you're dead instantly, because the length that you can cover with Rek'Sai and the Lantern, it's basically the entire screen.
And on top of that, when we're praising Hylissang when he was on the top of his game, it was always been because of that Bard and that Thresh, so we definitely know what to do on that one, and we'll see what ends up being the last pick here for the Flash Wolves. You said you would love to see the Zyra, and it does seem that that will be the one picked in. picked in, locked
Yes,
in.
you lock it
Locked in.
Hopefully the Zyra will be the one, but again, just all squishy. So if you have the Gnar being the one split pushing on the side and relying on the TP, that means that your 4-man lineup is incredibly susceptible to just getting jumped immediately because you have literally nobody's a tank here. Your Vel'Koz is not a tank, Nidalee will not build tank, and so you can easily get picked when you have the likes of the Ashe, when you have Rek'Sai with the Orianna ball, and I really like this lineup for the Unicorns this time around just because it's such a straightforward comp.
Yeah, fantastic. We'll see what happens. Very interesting picks here from both teams. Once again, we'll see what happens. Casters, take it away. Take us into Game 3.
Happy to take it away. Shocks. Looking forward to this Game 3, although we are already concerned, just like you, about the pick ban phase. Blue side not looking good for either team as both appear to be kind of running into the same mistakes.
And we just came from a Worlds where blue side was picked in every situation where side selection was available. It's still been picked here, but the red side has had a lot more advantage. One of the things we kind of criticized Flash was for last series was, or basically considered was, they blind pick both their solo lanes. Shouldn't be surprised if counter picks come on the side of the red side. And once again here, we actually see Unicorns of Love fall into the same trap, draft very early, and leave Flash was a lot of options on the red side.
Yeah, I think the Poppy is completely fine to pick as a first pick just to deny it and get yourself a priority pick, but then you give away the chance to counterpick both your top and your mid lane, and then you allow them to last pick their support, so you don't even take away Zyra. It seems like a really big kind of misplay here in the draft from Unicorns of Love. It's actually kind of confusing, but I mean, we doubted them before, and the comfort just seemed to work out for them.
At the same time, though, the lane matchups look so solid across the board for Flash Wolves. Jhin, Zyra versus the Ashe Thresh, the Gnar into the Poppy on the top side of the map. Maple versus Exile, the one matchup we have seen so far, and that one very neutral.
And let's talk a bit about the fact that once again we see the lock-in on the Vel'Koz. Locked in once again. We consider about the fact that a lot's changed in terms of the draft for Unicorns of Love in the last 2 times as a pause comes through. First time we saw the Vel'Koz, it was with the Leandri's build. It's very, very standard now. You're able to poke very well with W, poke with Q. Against tanks, it makes a lot of sense, but we didn't see tanks. There's only a single tank lineup last night. This time, there's a Poppy. This time, there's a Rek'Sai. The build is a bit more natural in this case, but just to finish the point, if we see it a second time with the comps changing, the only consistent variable being the Orianna being drafted again, clearly this is Maple focusing on the lane and liking the Vel'Koz into Orianna.
Yeah, and the Vel'Koz will just deny the space that the Orianna really wants to be in. How the hell does an Orianna even make it to the Vel'Koz? You have to have some type of assistance or some other person on it. And Orianna, can't really deny and get to that back line so quickly. You have to go through the front line.
But of course, the good news is the ball delivery system is there. You have the Poppy, you have the Rek'Sai, ways potentially for that ball to get into the back line, to get on top of that Vel'Koz. But as you mentioned, the Leandri's makes it pretty easy for him to kill those tanks, even if they can't get on top of him.
And if there's no flank, it's worth noting that there's no Bard for very easily cancelling of the Jhin ultimate. Assuming that Ashe, of course, doesn't have the ability to snipe the Jhin with the ult. During laning phase, it's going to be hard to get the Jhin ultimate out, but in team fights, relative safety.
Moving down, Maple here as well, offering potential backup for the level 1 G's. Chachi's here.
Ooh, got the ward.
Solid spot to be. Does still have a decent amount of time. Well, is still going to opt for the back here. Minions, of course, have yet to spawn. See Rek'Sai and Gnar getting frisky on the top side. Spotting each other out, walking away. Gnar making sure that he has knowledge as to where the jungler is going to start. Ward dropped in the end. Things coming from both sides. We keep our attention focused on the bottom lane, up at potentially explosive level 1 here.
There's a lot of trading just back and forth, trying to get those Thunderlords off. Get a little extra gold on Zyra's side.
And play first expected from Hylissang. We haven't actually clicked on him, so we're not 100% confirmed on that.
And of course, interesting enough too, opting for the Ancient Coin over the Relic Shield. Hylissang getting aggressive, lots of damage.
Hylissang has the Ignite here, worth noting. Zyra is very much on peel duty with the exhaust, but quick level 2, lots of kill pressure potentially onto Sword Art.
Yeah, you want to push for that level 2. Want to make sure you can get those creeps down quickly, and if you can get that hook as soon as possible, may end up in a kill if you can keep Sword Art around that HP.
Karsa spotted out, first wave traded back, waiting on that third melee creep for both teams. Relatively even pressure. Now remember, this may be an unconventional Thresh pick, but similar to Sword Art, Hylissang made his name on this pick in the early days of his career, so definitely not a stranger to it, and does look surprisingly comfortable in the Zyra matchup.
It's going to be 2 first for Sword Art and double red. be answered back very quickly, though.
Meanwhile, of course, Poppy surprisingly pushing in MMD on the top lane, taking advantage of the level 2 there. Neither jungle finding too much impact. Double Red getting aggressive once he sees the hook go down.
Of course, teetering along. It's very much standard early game things here. Karsa going to be trying to provide a bit of defensive vision for his bot lane by picking up the first Scuttle Crab. Infernal Drake is the first spawn. Makes us wonder if we'll see more and more pathing around Drake this game.
Karsa getting aggressive and invading here, of course. Unlike the Olaf, who naturally opposed to those walls very easily for Nidalee to chase down the Rek'Sai move, has to give that a little bit more respect. Karsa potentially going to run into him here as he looks to clear out the Raptors. Just going to hop over the wall instead. Now looking at the game, where do we expect the jungle attention to go? Bot lane seems very explosive, but top lane, while it should be in the favor of Flash Wolves, not quite that way yet.
In terms of where I would expect the jungle to go for Move, I would expect Move to try and just keep tabs on Karsa. And Karsa, he can pretty much go wherever he wants, but I think the bottom lane is probably your best bet here.
I was saying taking so much damage in that exchange to the plants, just poking him down on top of that deadly flourish.
I mean, as long as he keeps the flash up, Move can be very potent in both mid and bot, is what I would say. The mid lane, if he can get the summoner spells down onto the Vel'Koz, suddenly Vel'Koz will struggle to actually get in position to double W and wave clear. So getting down Maple's flash, and we did see Maple last play Vel'Koz, there was a lot of attention, even some solo kills from Exile onto this Vel'Koz. So keeping the Vel'Koz in track early will go a long way to denying the item build for Maple.
Although Maple doing such a good job of farming up. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Vizicachi does go for the early back, has the cloth armor and the boots to get a bit of push advantage, but MMD taking his first back as well.
We see a collapse here. Now there's complete information available to Karsa, although now Move spots out Karsa himself.
Yeah, ended up warding his own Raptors there. And Karsa is able to see Move and just stops moving and making sure that he doesn't get spotted by the Tremor Sense just yet, but he gets his own Raptors, which honestly is a bit of a victory there for him.
Small advantages traded back and forth here in the early game. Gold remains just about even. Bottom lane farm in favor of Veritas, despite all the harass that Double Red and Sword are laying down. But it's not just about the farm in the game, it's about the pressure. And right now, that is in favor of Flash Wolves, at least on the bottom side. But top lane, surprisingly, remaining even here in the early stages.
One of the little things that deviating from the Relic Shield start does for Thresh is gets a bit more passive sustain as the minions die. Doesn't, of course, have to over-position, looking for the auto attacks to get the execute on minions.
Move taking a lot of poke here. Interestingly enough, Exhaust going to be used. He's going to have to flash. Dragon coming up. Lantern available.
Yeah, he couldn't actually go off to the left because there's an inside track for Maple.
Chachi in the top lane, meanwhile, trading back. Good patience to deny the leap in there, but a very even top lane thus far. Quickly approaching level 6 for the solo lanes. A similar story for Exile and Maple in the mid lane. Remember, in game 1, Exile, once he gets that level 6, once he got an item under his belt, was able to find the solo kill. Is it going to be the same story here in game 3?
It's important for Vizicachi to keep up the CS. Looks like maybe Ninja Tabi will be the rush from Poppy. He knows exactly what's going to happen in this lane. Going to take a lot of trading, and wow, MMD falls low, will be forced to recall, doesn't have teleport as well.
Exile taking a lot of damage, does use the ults. Ults traded back and forth. Not going to go for the aggressive flash over. Just a lot of poke.
Does have to be careful though, because Karsa is on this side of the map, just denying some creeps here from Move, and Move is still level 4. He ended up getting chunked out before he hit 5, and Karsa well on his way to 6, almost a full level up right now.
Move maybe looking for the setup here, but Karsa is behind. Who's going to execute faster? Exile not posturing in the appropriate position to dodge out the Nidalee gank. Just backing off in the end from the Nidalee, however. Rek'Sai still set up for the potential play, but Karsa now moving onto the bottom side.
Yeah, this is the lane that I think that they should go to, because Sword Art, he has the CC, Double Red also has a root, and then that guarantees the follow-up.
Misses. Double Red in trouble. The Ignite goes down. It's ticking. Double Red uses the heal, but the Ignite still denies a lot of that. Karsa tanks a tower shot. Hylissang flashing to safety. Karsa in trouble. Play goes wide. No ultimate available from the Vel'Koz, but that's a lot of poke. Spear not going to connect. Minion happy to block it. So many low health bars, but no one's going to drop.
And that's just going to be pressure going over to Exile in the mid lane, and man, almost anybody could have died there if they had made one misstep in a certain direction. Could have been a Flash Wars member, could have been a UOL member.
I mean, big credit to Hylissang. There's long cooldowns and all these Thresh abilities, but he sidestepped, he turned aggro, he forced Karsa to tank some turret shots just to come in, and then there wasn't health bars to go for a 4-man dive. So in so many different ways, outplays from Hylissang means that they don't use a lot of summoners. They keep both up on their mid laner. Good stuff from Unicorns of Love.
Solid play around the bottom side. Chachi was so dominant earlier, but now starting to struggle. As the Meganar comes online, has to respect the potential. The all-in, but MMD just using the low cooldown on that ultimate to throw down a bit of harass.
Yeah, he is going to be back down in CS, though, so Vizicachi has a bit of an edge there if he can CS underneath his turret effectively. Get a bit of a lead for himself on this Poppy, despite being bullied and kind of pushed around by this Gnar.
Yeah, despite the early lead for Maple in the mid lane, XL does balance it out.
Oh, they're trying to 3-man him.
A lot, looking for the dive here. Moves forward, do get the flash in the end, so still worth it, but not quite the impact they were hoping for.
But this just really leaves Maple in an awkward spot. He used his Ghost to get to bot lane to be involved in a gank that clearly wasn't successful. Now has no summoners, short range on his W, so risky times.
Yeah, what's going to happen here, though, is Unicorns of Love, because Exile backed and they tried to jump on Maple, they do give up their blue buff. Karsa saw that, knew that they had to back. Exile had no mana, and that's going to be Move actually taking away Flash Wolf's blue, so they just exchanged them.
Oh, one goes on grab it as well.
Yep, so Maple actually ends up getting a blue, whereas Exile will not get one.
Talked about in the last game how crucial those small advantages are, and it's not as explosive as the Rise versus Cassio, but those advantages do add up. We've seen what happens when Maple comfortably gets to the late game, and Blue does make the next couple minutes very comfortable.
Otherwise, just seeing the usual stuff coming through. Essence Reaver first, likely to be the case for Veritas. Build path hasn't changed much. There has been some Infinity Edge Hurricane builds, but Prey and thus a lot of AD carries still prioritizing the Essence Reaver and consistent damage from the Essence Reaver Hurricane build.
Yep. Solid ability, of course, to clear out the waves as well. Keeping the mana pool up allows you to continue spamming that volley, and solid to have. Karsa continues to clear out, maintaining a CS lead over the Rek'Sai, but not nearly as overwhelming as we may have initially expected.
Well, I mean, he has a CS lead, but nobody else on his team does. All right, Unicorns Love, despite some counter matchups, despite some matchups that are supposed to go in Flash Wolf's favor, they still are not able to actually find any CS advantages for the Flash Wolves. Unicorns of Love, constantly, it's actually been a theme of this tournament that they just seem to be a little bit better in lane at CSing than their opponents, and it keeps adding up to 20 CS, 15 CS advantages.
And on the top side, small lead in favor of the Poppy, 10 CS mid lane, still pretty close to even, but the bottom side of the map, 20 in favor of the Ashe.
And I want to say that, okay, it's mathematically 12 CS doesn't sound like a lot, but in an unfavorable matchup where we've seen solo kills in the past, being 12 CS up on the Poppy actually means a whole lot more, and it means the Sunfire keeps coming pretty damn fast for this Poppy.
Oh yeah, and the fact that it was a double Doran sync for MMD, he bought 2 Dorans, means he's not ended up buying any more items with that gold, and it's just kind of wasted in the end because he'll end up selling them very quickly. Takes just a little bit of that extra inventory slot.
Of course, stepping forward, got to keep our eyes on the mid lane, because while this has remained relatively passive both times we've seen this matchup played, the potential for roams definitely shift if either one can get an advantage in the early pressure. Take a look at the itemization as we are about to get back into game. Sork shoes as well as the Lost Chapter for Exile, a lot of movement speed prioritized here as opposed to the raw damage for Vel'Koz.
Well, the fact that he has boots too already, Vel'Koz has 0, he has no boots, doesn't even have brown bags. I mean, I guess it's Vel'Koz, so. He doesn't have the Cassiopeia treatment quite yet, despite just having tentacles.
I'm sorry, Corky flies, and yet he still needs boots.
Yeah, you gotta look fly when you fly. Papa Smithy. Veritas, though, caught out. He's not looking too fly, although the heal's gonna keep him safe. Dancing grenade, not quite enough. Chachi's hungry for a little bit of blood. Is he going to use the ultimate here? Knocks him up. Not gonna knock him down, however. Is not going to get knocked out under turret either. TP canceled in the end, so TP for TP. Neither side gonna grab a kill.
Josh is going to be able to push the wave, inch forward. Double Red can stay, though, full health, despite his support having to recall. So, not going to be any CS denial on the bot lane.
You have to be a little careful, though. Hylissang will walk up on this.
Chachi looking surprisingly fearless. There goes the hook, not under tower. Is under tower. First blood.
He had flash. Double Red, if he saw that coming, he should have just reactively flashed away from it. He's died multiple times in this series alone with flash up.
Just not respecting. This is one of those cases where, okay, might have played some AD carry and solo. He's probably scrimmed as well, but not respecting the potential aggression. Love the layering of CC. Hylissang hitting a max range Thresh hook. Getting a lot of value out of this Thresh, both defensively and offensively, despite it being kind of surreal to see Thresh picked back-to-back by differing teams in a final on 621.
Of course, and it's, interesting to see too. I think so many people forget, yeah, you're not going to think of Poppy or Thresh for the burst damage they provide, but when you hit 6 abilities back to back, there's just nothing a level 7 Jhin is going to be able to do in that circumstance, but a level 8 Nidalee may be able to. Karsa looking for the kill here, not going to be able to get the plant. Nice sidestep on the spear. Chachi almost keeps the ball rolling there, not able to use the heroic charge.
Important to get those answering kills. It kind of steadies the nerves after the first blood was donated over. Ash should actually just go on top. It's gone to roam, even though no turrets have gone down. Just had enough of the laning phase, I guess.
Tired of playing there. Maybe looking to put that advantage elsewhere. Move. Clearing out the waves as best he can. Does get snared up. That's a lot of poke, but Hylissang stepping forward.
Yeah, a lot of the reason that the Ashe went top lane, though, is because Poppy was still on the bottom side of the map.
Sure.
The top wave was getting shoved in, so you have to swap it up so that you don't end up having that Gnar just take the top turret.
And even more relevantly, it might be, even if it wasn't realistic for the Gnar to take the turret, it would be just picking up CS that would have otherwise died to the turret as well.
This is a terrifying spot for Veritas to be. That's so much damage on the boomerang toss. Level 10 to level 8 is a massive difference at this stage. Veritas finally going to back off here. Will make his way back to the bottom lane. His top lane presence short-lived. And while we take a look at mid lane, it continues to be a trade fest. Not going to be the center of attention until Hylissang and Move make their presence known.
Maple's Flash just came back up. So they weren't able to
flash play, not going to connect the hook. The knockup comes in to disengage. Out comes the ult. Hylissang is going to fall. Maple happy to pick that one up.
Proved being massively consequential. That Flash was a couple of seconds away from being up. By the time they went through, Flash was back up. Used off cooldown effectively. Maybe that was even a timing error on the side of Unicorns of Love. We can only speculate, and we're not done.
Call comes out. Move potentially in trouble. Arrow going to connect onto Sword Art. Exile does have the ult up and available. The Flash as well. Not enough members of the team. In comes the Poppy, but no! Down goes Exile. The chain CC comes in. Chachi's in trouble. The knockup's going to come in as well. The top laner set to fall. One wrong move from the Unicorns of Love, and Flash Wolves take control.
It's the trickle in there. Exile, he had his ultimate available. He wanted to get a little bit further up, possibly turn it with a shockwave, but Double Red had held his ultimate, the final charge, for so long, and then it came through, and he got that last snipe.
One summoner being available again is what really unsettled a nice roam from Unicorns of Love, and they trickle in one by one. The punishment is severe. No structures, but a lot of momentum over to Flash Wolves.
Excellent place to be. For so long, the gold has been even. Now almost 2K in the favor of Flash Wolves. Maybe looking to extend that with the first brick, but Unicorns of Love trying to turn it back with an Infernal Dragon.
Definitely helping.
Looks like it's not going to be answered either. Vel'Koz was in base. Everyone else backing away. So nice pick up for Unicorns of Love.
I think the answer would be the top turret in this case, though, with the Gnar. Yep. Poppy not there, ended up getting killed. Vizichachi still 2 levels down. It's one of those moments where you're like, I wish I didn't have to turn Mega.
Well, now Karsa's coming in. Oh no, this is not good. Tower now gone means Chachi is suddenly in trouble. No minion for him to taxi his way out. He's just going to try to take down Karsa. Goes in to be a little bit more aggressive. Scares off the Nidalee. MMD doesn't have the damage now to take him down.
They do return a turret on the bottom side.
Means that the Infernal Drake is an extra bounty in the overall trade. Nice moves from Vizichachi. I thought was worried for his life when he used the ult to defensively take out the top laner, but the extra tanking, the nice turnaround. Chachi's still in lane.
This is actually fine from Chachi. He wants to stall them.
MMD trying to buy time. MMD solo. Can he get the kill? Yes! The buckler! Captain America cuts him down. That's what you like to see. Moving forward now, Chachi fearless.
Yeah, Chachi, that's really big for him because even if he dies, he delays them enough to get the bottom.
Double red, the double knockup, it's coming in. Ash is ready to party, and the exhaust is already on move. Sword Art not going to have it. Looks for the disengage, and it's going to be curtains for somebody. There might not be enough health here for Unicorns of Love to tank, but the shot misses. Veritas moving in to block it out.
I mean, UOL has complete control of that bottom side jungle. They already got the blue buff. This mid turret is already super low, and Maple, his jungle on the right isn't really that safe for him.
And it's even better than it first appears because Vizichachi once again stopped the back. Karsa's been chilling top for the longest time.
Yeah, but Vizichachi has 2, and there's the TP from behind. MMD wants to try and get a kill.
Desperate for a kill here. Orianna similarly alone in the mid lane. Zyra there to support it. Chachi now in trouble. He's overstayed his welcome, but Karsa is out of mana, however. Nearly impossible to escape with the frozen mallet. Thresh is on the way up, looking for the lantern. Will he make it in time? The flash has been burned. He's on the way. Sword Art looking for the snare. Will not connect on the Chachi. Lantern comes in. No! One auto to take him down, but Exile's in the mid lane, and the game's blown wide open now as the tower's set to fall. Sword Art looking for the flank move. Has he overstayed? Maple trying to clear the waves. Ball attached to the delivery system. Both sides pulling back.
Kills going over to Flash Walls, but the objective play so far has been very good. The standing
Exile wants a bite! Pop goes Maple, and down he goes.
And that's going to be the mid turret here. It has about one more hit on it, and that'll be Unicorns of Love evening up the gold.
Just assassin-like play from Exile, harkening back to his early days. Doesn't matter what champion you're playing if you have the mindset of a carry. That's one thing you can definitely say.
Arrow goes in. Exile wants another. Hylissang steps up to give him the assist. Unicorns of Love coming out of the shadows to kill each and every one of the Flash Wolves.
Multiple members are turning on the star. This is great to see from the Unicorns of Love. Even after they've given away a lot of the early momentum they created, they're back in the driver's seat.
We gotta harken back. I mean, this is nothing for the first 12 minutes. And then instantly 5 minutes of non-stop action, an absolute bloodbath here. And gold now dead even, but the tower in favor of Unicorns of Love in addition to the Infernal Drake.
Don't know how I feel about double Sapphire Crystal in the inventory from Visacharge. It's clearly going to be Sheen into working into the Iceborne Gauntlet with both of them, but not the most,
Shroud and Sheen.
Not the most slot efficient of purchases. Could be a pink ward.
He ran out of mana when he died last time.
He's back and turned into a Glacial Shroud. There's a pink ward.
It's all good now.
Calm down, guys. Calm down. It's still there. But Exile has a decent amount of wave clear. Has to respect the potential here. Fortunately, Flash Will's not quite as many proactive tools. Shots hitting down into Exile. Maple looking to set up the ultimate potentially, but not going to get it. Mid lane tower low, but hasn't fallen yet. Bot lane, different story as Karsa picks up that one.
Yep, Hylissang walking forward.
Air does connect.
He's been a big playmaker for this team. The Bard walking forward, the Tahm Kench making plays with the Abyssal Voyage, the Thresh walking forward and trying to get the hooks. Like, his team just keeps enabling him and empowering him from a mentality standpoint to keep trying to make these plays. Even if he gets caught once, it doesn't seem to affect him.
What I enjoyed kind of seeing as a preview for the future is when they were just setting up for those last hits on that mid turret. You saw how many different line and poke skill shots have to be respected by the Unicorns of Love. Everyone on the side of Flash Wolves can fish for a pick, fish for a big burst of damage, and at some point something's going to hit.
Yeah, it's quite similar to that game one composition with the Nidalee, with those Vel'Koz alongside it. So you get hit by one skill shot, you're going to eat the other, and you're going to eat a lot of damage.
Very difficult to escape from that pairing, especially if the initial spear lands. Vel'Koz so much long-range poke.
And it's even better than it was before, because before they had the Ashe, now they have the Jhin and the Zyra alongside it. So you eat pretty much anything, you're going to be eating at least 2-3 follow-ups.
Zyra Q, a Boomerang, a Nidalee Spear, all of them are going to be facilitated. Not even mentioning something like the Q from the Vel'Koz. All going to be enabling the Deadly Flourish, and from there the burst damage will be assured. So it is an obnoxiously strong Flash Wolves poke comp. Only someone like Visacharge or maybe even Move can really answer it with a big shockwave.
That's the thing. The big problem with poke compositions is that they're usually very flimsy. It means you don't have a tank jungler, you don't have a tank support in this case. So if Visacharge gets tanky enough to actually just mitigate a lot of the damage, he will be so hard to deal with and so disruptive.
But what you can say, though, is just ignore it. You have to kind of recognize the fact that that's a 5-minute cooldown. Mostly it's Visacharge.
Chachi does so much true damage, not quite enough to close
the scenarios for a engaged comp versus a poke comp is the poke is so low cooldown. Someone is going to have a cooldown up on a poke ability, and often you use teleport, you need to use flash. If you don't get that engage, then the poke comp just comes straight back. They know you don't have cooldowns, and you're going to lose objectives.
And it's something with like a Rek'Sai. It's actually becoming difficult to get in as soon as you see the tunnel coming through. Zyra route, whatever route you want to use to knock up from Vel'Koz. So it becomes very dependent on the flash to get in. A 5-minute cooldown every 5 minutes to try and engage. You have to make it count.
The only way you can make that work is you have enough pressure to get exclusive vision on both sides and come in from double flanks where they have to go one way and you surprise them from the other way. If you just try and make a Rek'Sai engage work, it's not going to happen.
Hylissang continuing to step forward, being that front line for the team. Not the tankiest member, but the one eager to engage. Zyra Plant's going down for a bit of vision, a bit of control over the area, so Flash Wolves know what is next. Cloud Drake, maybe not the high priority for either team, but happy to pick it up as a consolation prize, and already the Vel'Koz starting to hurt. A decent chunk of Veritas taken away.
Poke, poke, poke.
Chachi and MMD trading blows on the top side, although Chachi's trying to 2v1. The turret there to back MMD up.
Definitely fun and interactive stuff there, specifically because Poppy's had such good CS that the window, honestly, for MMD to wail away is past. I mean, the Black Cleave is not completed. Second armor item will be completed soon for Vizicachi. This Poppy is super, super comfortable.
Yeah, I just think Poppy is such a great champion right now. And even if you play something like Jace and try to rush a Black Cleaver, sure, you'll beat her early, but she still just does so much, has very effective teleports. Gnar will be able to crush her early game, but eventually she just takes over in the one-on-one, and then what are you going to do? Split push? Trundle's kind of the answer, but then even then his team fight isn't as good.
Yeah, Poppy. MMD looking pretty comfortable here as he tries to push her out, but of course he's already lost the tower, so there's no reason for Vizicachi to stay, but Veritas hiding in the shadows, waiting to look for the arrow. Karsa just going to jump right out.
Wasn't a lot of reaction time there, but Karsa on point. Nidalee in game 1 was very strong, so shouldn't be surprised.
Have to look what the next move is going to be. Snare does connect, but manages to make it through the tunnel anyway. Maple off to the flank, all on his lonesome. Lantern going to ferry move to safety, and another pick potentially denied.
Still, Unicorns of Love, surprisingly and importantly, are the team on the front foot. It's not them watching people poke and looking for an engage. It's them actually pushing up and forcing a reaction out of the flash walls. They're much poorer at actually punishing overextension just because that's not how their comp operates.
Interesting to see, waiting potentially for some more aggressive moves here. Cloud Drake vision being cleared out. Maybe the catalyst for a coming fight. The objective itself, not really what's exciting the teams, but if they can find the proper setup, they'd both be eager to find a greater advantage because the gold is just about dead even as we approach the 23-minute mark.
Vizicachi picking up one more item, specifically the Spectre's Cowl to complement the double armor items, is when Poppy can start getting to that obnoxious stage where she can walk up. What's she going to do that shrugs off damage from the other side? Only the physical damage, and there's still quite a lot of magic damage on the side, so Spectre's Cowl probably not far away, and then things look pretty good for the front line of Unicorns of Love.
Oh, absolutely. But the problem is that Flash Wolves were in this situation up against Unicorns of Love. Even game, but Flash Wolves, all they had to do was keep poking. Flash Wolves didn't seem to be able to pull the trigger on the Baron in game 1 and find a position to do so. They had somebody who would flank with the cannon teleport, so Vizicachi, he has to be brave enough to actually pull the trigger if they get in that situation, but Flash Wolves have been able to stay away from those types of situations themselves.
And of course, Exile struggled to find the shockwaves in that game as well, but no longer does he have to land the shot. He can rely on Vizicachi to deliver it for him. So even more pressure on the top laner. That's a little bit of a potential pick here. Not going to get it in the end, taking so much damage. Exile now running for his life. There is the Lantern there. Spear's still going to connect. I don't think he's going to make it out. He is so low. Deathfire touched the laser. And the fight! Not going to get it in the end. Hillsang starting the fight off. Move looking for a little bit more damage. I don't think they have enough to kill him. In comes the 80 carry of the Unicorns, but Move gets popped as well. The Spear is connected. Carson may be looking for more. Chachi goes in, but he's so low. He's going to trade 1 kill back. 2 for 1 so far. The Lantern takes him to safety. Hilly wants to keep the ball rolling. Maybe overstaying his ball. Double red. Knocked into the wall. They have the burst damage. The Ashes moving forward. They're going to get 1 more, but it's just an absolute bloodbath. Up they step. Karsa maybe looking for the kill. Hook does connect, but they have to be careful. Red buff keeping them safe for now. Flash Wolves breaking down mid.
The hook after hook is sparing the blushes a little bit. At least their trading kills are not giving free objectives over to the way of the Flash Wolves. It was unnecessary for Exile to use his full rotation, then his Flash, then his Live, and his Ghost on just trying to poke out Azira, especially because he didn't even have any backup. They weren't even going to get anything other than kill credit on a support. So greedy stuff from Exile.
Exactly, and his team was not in a position to actually capitalize. Veritas and Hillsang were off to the left around the blue buff area, so it's not like they're on a turret and you're pulling 3 people towards Orianna. That was a little bit gratuitous there, but Flash Wolves had the right punish. They kept going, and they actually had the TPs come through from both top laners during the middle of that fight. So these skirmishes are going back and forth, but Flash Wolves are still getting the better of them. They're just playing them ever so slightly, but it's still better.
25 minutes in, it's a 1.5k gold lead for the Flash Wolves. Double Red using the Deadly Flourish to pick up that red buff and now clearing out the mid wave. Struggling in the CS department once again, but still making impact in these fights.
And this is just greed from Exile. We've complimented him on assassin-like players on Orianna. Fool me once, shame on me. And you see, try to get out here with the W from Thresh. You know, the Dove Passage is not enough. They get some trade kills. And the fact that it's trade kills rather than ultimate advantage is back live.
Yeah, the MMD is bottom side. He doesn't have teleport, so they try to do it and try to open it up.
Oh, arrow connects to Double Red. Move looking for the follow-up. CC Zyra with the snare denies it. He gets knocked into the wall. He gets taken down. Suddenly the ball is in Unicorn of the Love court. Maybe looking to keep this one going, but are going to have to back off here. Don't have the waves. Flash Wolves moving to respond. Chachi hungry for blood once again.
Spatial awareness of Double Red has to be questioned there. Didn't cancel his ultimate, wasn't able to sidestep. Punishment, it's already 1 turret, could be 2.
We were talking about it in Champion Select. But what's going to counter the Jhin? The Bard or even the Ashe? The Ashe will just throw the arrow straight at where you see the ultimate coming.
On the flank, Shockwave goes wide. Maybe looking to keep the engage going. Vizicachi so tanky, knocks the Vel'Koz into the wall. That's the chain, that's the follow-up. Veritas gets aggressive. They're going to get knocked up. Now turned, the Gnar gets in, but Poppy doing his best to knock everyone out of the fight. Now stepping forward, Exile does a lot of damage, but with no ult, it might not be enough. Gnar wants to get in, the Flay denies the follow-up. The ball moving around the team fight left and right, dishing out the damage. Exile cuts down MMD. Unicorns of Love coming out on top in that small exchange.
I'm loving the re-engages from Vizicachi. Understands just exactly how powerful he is. This is the benefit of being so far into the build despite the counter matchup in top. And the Orianna supporting him. Nice stuff from Unicorn.
Absolutely, and the entire team is actually backing him up. He counter engages. Veritas flashes back into the fight on top of his Zyra ultimate to just finish Maple off. It's so bold, but everybody is on the same page on the Unicorns of Love side. It may be like a half second too slow for some members to follow Vizicachi up, and that would require the flash, but still, they are turning, they are committing those summoner spells to help each other out.
Those kills aren't leading to game-breaking objectives, though. Flash Wolves are still in a really good spot. Poke comps, when the flashes are down, aftermath of a fight, that's when a poke comp is super strong. If there's 10 flashes blown, poke comp walks up. They start poking. You don't really have engage options that you usually do, and that's when the free turrets start to come. So don't get ahead of ourselves. I feel like Flash Wolves still really are in a very good shot of taking this game.
I mean, dead even in the game right now, if we get late, it could look just like game one, where this Vel'Koz starts to cut through half a health bar at a time. Potential for engages there. They have the Gnar as well for the combo. Millisang connecting. Arrow goes on to double red as well. That's the twofer. They're going to grab the first kill. Now may be able to turn to the Baron.
And Vizicachi is just obnoxiously strong. He actually turned his Chain Vest into a straight-up Guardian Angel as his last purchase, and he was turning around with no GA. He's going to go pretty aggressive now.
Exile misses another Shockwave. Curtain Call coming in. Maybe looking for the disengage here. Vel'Koz off to the side. A lot of low health bars. For a shot. We've seen this one before. Waiting on it.
And I love Vizicachi on Poppy. I was so confused when they weren't picking it earlier. The guy played it even before it was reworked. He loves the heroic charge ability and slamming people against walls. And even the Scarlet Hammer Poppy to boot. I mean, he's the guy who played a competitive back to Challenger. That was like 2 years ago.
Now it's a good champion.
Yeah, it is a good champion.
Now it's a really good champion.
I see you, Vizicachi.
Definitely exactly what the team needed. The confidence in the engage there. It may not be the Shen, may not be you know, the traditional pick that he's gone for, but it's been really good for him in the meta, and a lot of people didn't expect Poppy to be as popular as she was, with Jace being an absolute solo queue powerhouse, but really stepped up over the course of the last few patches.
Yeah, and he has that teleport up right now. He has his flash as well, and a big engage tool onto this poke composition. But Infernal Drake, second Infernal Drake for UOL, if they're able to get it. Flash Wolves could get it and actually just enhance all the AP, because it's so effective on this team, because you don't have a tank who's building any flat health. You have a jungle Nidalee, you have a
Maple gonna get cut down. That's exactly what the Flash Wolves want. A major source of damage gone. Double red running for his life as Vizicachi finds the flank. Now moving forward. Potentially an option as they look in. Maybe setting their sights on the mid lane instead. Hook almost connects to MMD.
I think Veritas has been super on point with his Ashe arrows. He clearly, this utility, the skill shot accuracy of this player, it's something that's been complemented in Europe, still on course here. Hitting Ashe arrows, hitting hooks.
MMD caught, he's the mini Gnar too, no tanky stats, knocked into the wall and now cut down. Exile on a rampage. Chachi knocks up double red. Pop, he goes! Double kill onto double red. Inhibitor gonna drop.
And they're going to keep pushing up here. If they are able to clear this out, the minion wave isn't too far away. There's 35 seconds on MMD and double red. They may try to get at least one of these turrets. The wave clear's coming back up with Maple.
Tower getting cut down now, quickly falling. Can this be the second win? Maple caught up. That's a great hook. Move getting cut down, though the health bars are so low. They're taking a lot of damage. Out comes the ult. Sorark's going to fall. Veritas is untouched, and he is doing so much damage. Exile as well. Chachi the lone tank, but he has the GA up and available. They're poking down this tower. It looks like they will have to back off, but Unicorns of Love are on the precipice of victory here in Game 3.
And they're making it work, taking those priority picks. First, Hilla-Sang. We've talked about him so much, but he's making so much happen with the Thresh, with the takeaway Thresh. That's not something we've said in the course of 2016, but it's made so much of an impact this game. And Vizicachi, first pick Poppy, looking pretty damn good.
Oh, and gonna get Maple health bar so low, but it just doesn't matter. He just doesn't care, just keeps picking up the kills.
Health bar is so gone at that point as well.
At this point, the health bar is basically just a bait with the Guardian Angel to turn around and slam someone next to a wall.
To be fair, it's still like 900 health.
I know.
This has such a large pool.
And also, the resistance is double from his passive whenever he's really low. So he's deceptively tanky. Very hard to take him out. And then he'd have another one with the Poppy, with the Guardian Angel as well on the Poppy. So this actually gave them so much, though, because now they get to take a breath. They don't have to risk the Baron going over, because you saw how low both Exile and Vizicsacsi were, and now they could take a breath and possibly go for Infernal.
And I gotta say, I was super critical on the desk earlier today for Chachi and Hylissang in that first game versus TSM, but both these guys have stepped up so much in this series. Hylissang in every game, a massive playmaker. Vizicsacsi on this Poppy, unstoppable. A similar story for the Gnar last game as well.
It's not even just this series, it's this tournament. Hylissang has been having an incredible tournament, and Vizicsacsi on top of it as well. You go back to the INTZ games, big players in that, and despite those two having fantastic games, everybody across UOL is. I got to talk to Sheepy yesterday. He was saying he's proud of every single member. Move has been stepping up. Exile has been showing that he can actually compete with all of these great mid laners like Bjergsen, like Maple. And Veritas, at the same time, having that skill shot accuracy, the Ashe, the Jhin, people are taking it away and banning it from him.
And look, there's definitely been players that have had down games. That's always the course. That's always true in every game, but it's never been multiples. There's always been one person like, I don't know what you're doing this game, Hylissang, and Move has certainly had his wayward games. Move going on to Comfort has unlocked a lot of his ability, though. He's been in the right spots, he knows the limits, and clearly the Rek'Sai is ultra comfort for him.
Veritas taking a decent amount of poke. The Baron setup is there for Unicorns of Love. They're not going to pull the trigger. The low health bar holding them back. Can't afford to throw this game away, because despite the leads they built, despite the impressive performances across the team, Flash Wolves are still a terrifying opponent and can quickly turn this game around if Unicorns of Love misstep. Karsa, a monster on this Nidalee. Items building up. We've seen the damage the Vel'Koz can do, and Double Red, if he can fix his positioning, still has the power to turn a potential fight. Oh, maybe not, though. The goes in. Another pick, support off the table. Will this be the Baron for Unicorns?
I mean, it's a 45-second cooldown for Exile's ultimate, so he's just doing it for a pick. By the time Sword Art comes back up, he'll have his ultimate back up here as well.
Spear going to connect to the Baron, get a little bit of damage down on the team. They may just take this as the opportunity to start, though. Just a little bit of a leash coming in from Karsa. That hook connects. They may go over the wall. Shields coming in.
You got to be careful, though, because MMD, he's getting close to that Mega.
Arrow going to go wide. Double Red canceling the ult. Just want to get stunned up.
TP from Chachi. He's trying to flank Maple and Karsa. They don't have a tank with them because there is no Gnar.
So fast.
Going down. Chachi going to knock Maple back to the team. He goes down. Exile's godlike. Chachi now on the front line. MMD has the Mega Gnar. Steadfast presence should be up and available. Karsa going to get popped as well. That's the double shutdown.
Take it in the game.
Moving forward, Unicorns of Love looking down and out after the first game, but potentially setting themselves up for match point. Flash Wolves holding on as best they can. Knocked away. Chachi's not going to have it. Not looking for the PvP, just looking for the win as they move in. But Double Red trying to give his life. It won't be enough. Nothing enough. Unicorns of Love unstoppable here in Game 3.
Unicorns of Love are one win away from their first trophy ever. They have put in so much work, brought on new members, and now they're poised to take IEM Oakland.
I mean, you look at the